What's up, YouTube? This is Zach, and today I wanted to talk about channeling. Um, and so, what exactly is channeling? Well, channeling is the concept of a person essentially allowing their body to be a vessel for other spirits. Um, there's a lot of people who channel. There's some famous channels, but one of you know, the videos I recently watched by a YouTuber by the name of Ryan Cropper, who makes a lot of videos about astral projection and a lot of spiritual concepts. He talked about how he used to channel, and one of the negatives was that for every good spirit that came in, there was a bad spirit that came in. Um, Also, his body was having some negative effects, and he was able to affirm that with other people who channeled as well. So he didn't recommend it, but what he said something interesting was that he brought up the concept of prayers really channeling God. And he said that's really the only entity that you should channel is God, and that, in regards to the spiritual community, some of the people out there with the new age spirituality, they'll channel whatever God becomes popular. And the concept with gods or these entities that people worship is that when people come up with a concept and they worship that concept, and many different people create something, and it actually starts to exist. It's like Plato had this concept where, when you put something to in a thought form, it exists in another dimensions. And Plato was right with a lot of things in regards to spirituality, because that's kind of how it works. It's kind of how it works when you astral project and you go into a different realm. If you think of something, it kind of appears. And if you have enough people think of like a god or an entity, it actually starts to exist and it can manifest. Now, um, why am I bringing this up here? Because I just adhere to, you know, religion and monotheism. Um, why am I talking about channeling? Well, because it's an interesting concept that I think people don't realize is that we're really channeling all the time, right? And so, kind of like what Ryan Cropper was saying, how he's channeling just God at this point. He doesn't channel spirits anymore. Um, I every time that we pray, we're essentially channeling God, right? And there's different chakra points in your body, and one of the points that uses to communicate with the other side is your crown chakra, which is interesting because the prostration is the most important part of our salah, of our prayer, and that's the point when our crown is actually touching the ground. Um, you kind of tilt your head downwards. I mean, it's for a lot of things. It's for respect, but it could have maybe something as far as a chakra meaning. When people say, the tradition in Islam is that when you pray, a light goes from your prayer point up to the heavens. um so it could be and what he was saying, Ryan Cropper, when he was talking about channeling, is he's saying, the more whatever you channel starts to manifest into who you are. It starts to become part of your vibration or your frequency or your vibe. And so, if you're channeling these bad spirits, um, you become bad yourself, or become negative. And what he was saying is that if you want to be happy and you want to be high spirited, you should channel God, for example. And now that could essentially be what prayer is to a certain degree. I mean, there's many different, things that are going on in prayer, and I made a video about, where Islamic prayer originated from. As far as Islamically, it says God doesn't need your prayer, right? And he doesn't. I mean, it's not like God needs us to pray to him. Like, he craves that. I mean, he craves it because he wants people to make it to heaven. He wants to protect and help people, but he doesn't need it. Like, it's not a requirement for him. So prayer is for us, right? Prayer is to help us, particularly. It's to help us manifest what we want to manifest. It's to calm us down. People talk about meditation in the new age spiritual circles and whatever. I mean, this is a form of meditation, except it actually has a spiritual meaning. You're not just sitting for 5 minutes. Oh, I want to think about my thoughts. No, you're you're actually accomplishing something, right? Um, So, it's an interesting concept to think that when we're praying, we're actually channeling, God through us, so to speak. You know, we're increasing our vibration through those ways. Another interesting concept is, one of the things I was told from one of my spiritual teachers is that I kind of organically met is that, when he gave me advice and he said, when you go to talk, just kind of don't focus so much on, you know, doing all these notes or waiting for the perfect time. Just allow the higher realms to channel through you. So, my spirit guides with being primarily angels Jabril, Metatron, which Metatron is a whole separate subject, which it's an angel, but it's not something that's typically brought up. They say it's Enoch when he was raised up, or Idris, as they say it in the Arab language. It's really Enoch. But and so that could be what's happening with me is that I'm channeling, um, you know, the higher spirits, the realms, my spirit guides might be speaking through me. I know for him, he channels the Virgin Mary through him. So because he primarily works on healing people, um, and so I think, it's an interesting concept to think about. What exactly is happening when we pray? Are we getting closer to God? One of the things God says is that He breathed into us and He put His Spirit in us. And so I think as humans, if we have the Spirit of God in us, right, and that could be where all spiritual abilities and intuition and psychic abilities and mediumship and all this that, some people in my comments disagree with, but whatever. That could be where it originates from, right? Because we are made of clay, we are dirt, essentially that's what we are. Um, we're just of the earth, right? Our body is mostly carbon, just in we're mostly water, which is stuff you find in the earth. That's what our body is composed of. But what gives us the quote unquote holiness or uniqueness is that God put his spirit into us. And so if God put his spirit into us, we should keep trying to connect with that spirit. And that could be through prayer. It doesn't have to be through traditional, prayers that we do. It could just be through dua we make. Dua is just asking God, any type of connection you have. And I think one advice that I would give people when they're trying to channel to God or to channel their spirit guides or the higher realms or the servants of God, right? Because we all are servants of God. And then just, like I explained in my last video, God has angels who do many different tasks, right? He has the angel of death take your soul and bring it to God. Could God just himself do it? Yeah, but we don't know exactly why there's a hierarchy with things and whatever. We're just humans. We can't fully understand that. There's the concept of as above, so below, and it's similar how we have, you know, um, a police officer bring the criminals to the judge. You don't have the judge go out and grab the criminal and bring him to him. So I mean, as above, so below. Some of the concepts that exist in the heavenly realm also exist in our realm, and so on and so forth. But it's an interesting concept. So we come from God. We have God's spirit in us, and we should try to connect with it. We should try to connect back with God. Um, you want to increase your vibrations and continue to pray. And maybe that's what's happening when you pray. You're literally becoming, your energy is aligning with God, so to speak. Maybe when people do holy things or they speak, or you want to accomplish something, or you're nervous about something, focus on having God work through you, focus on having the angels work through you, the servants of God work through you. And also, this is just a warning, to be careful when you channel things, right? I mean, when it, don't just hear this God and New Age spirituality and, oh, I pray to this God and I pray to this God and I have this thing come through me and this spirit and this entity. Be careful when you do those type of things. Like everything I do in regards to any spiritual practice I do, it's based in Quran, Bible, Torah. It's based in monotheism. It's based in the concept that God is in control and there's only one God and He's in control of everything. That the prophets, are holy and that the angels are holy. And everything I do regarding spirituality is I'm never calling upon this jinn or that entity or that spirit or this. I'm calling upon God, and I think that's just what I want people to be aware of, and take care of yourself and protect yourself. And, remember your creator and connect with your creator. And that could be essentially what's happening when people pray, and why we're asked to pray is so we can connect back with our creator, and because he put his spirit in us, and so we can continue to enhance that, and facilitate that connection, and increase our vibrations. And just don't pray, don't look at praying as something that, like, you're being forced to do it. Look at prayer as something, and that, like, I mean, you go to make money so you can buy things that you like. Materialism is only going to get you so far in life, but you should go pray to God, because it's the same thing. You want some sort of currency to enhance your life. And that's the only real currency that's going to enhance your life, is connecting with your creator. So thank you for watching this. Just an interesting video. Um, Again, check out Ryan Cropper. He has a video on channeling where he specifically says this. And there's a lot of spiritual people who, they're not indoctrined into any religion, who still believe that God is the one and God is important. So always remember that, and always keep that in mind. Thank you very much.